Hello friends, welcome to a new episode of Drishti IAS Editorial Analysis. In this editorial analysis, we do three things. First of all, we link the editorial to the UPSC syllabus. Secondly, we try to understand the key points of the editorial. And thirdly, if any key concepts have come in the editorial and are important from exam point of view, we also discuss them. So let us begin today's editorial analysis.
Dear viewer, this video is available in Hindi as well. If you wish to watch it, please visit our Hindi YouTube channel, Drishti IAS. For your convenience, the link for this video in Hindi has been provided in the description below.
We have taken today's editorial from the Hindu, and the title of the editorial is New Order in West Asia, and it says that the accords between Arab states and Israel cannot bring peace without solving the Palestine issue. So now let us look at its linkage with the UPSC syllabus. So we find that it links directly with GS paper 2, where we have international relations as one of the important areas of the syllabus. And under this, it links with the bilateral, regional and global groupings and agreements involving India and or affecting India's interests. So after establishing the linkage with the syllabus, now let us look at the key points of the editorial. So before moving on to the key points of the editorial, let us understand what the issue is all about, and with the help of a map. So on 15th of September, President Trump hosted Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and foreign ministers of Bahrain and UAE, who were at the White House to sign an agreement called the Abraham Accords. Now what are these Abraham Accords? So these agreements will normalize the relations between Israel with UAE and Bahrain. Before the Abraham Accords, only two Arab countries have so far given recognition to Israel. None of the other Arab countries recognize Israel as an independent state. So the only two Arab countries which have recognized Israel are Egypt in 1979 and Jordan in 1994. And UAE and Bahrain will become the third and fourth Arab countries to recognize Israel now. Now Israel on its part will not proceed with its plan to annex parts of West Bank. So here in this map we can see UAE, which is located here, Bahrain, which is located here, and Israel. Also we can see Egypt and Jordan. In this close-up map of Israel, we can see some of the important locations which can be asked in exam and which we should be knowing. So one is Gaza Strip, the other is West Bank. Then we should also be knowing Golan Heights and also the Sinai Peninsula. We should also note the location of Dead Sea, which is located here. And this area is called West Bank because it lies to the west of Jordan River. And when we talk about the two-state solution for Israel-Palestine issue, so the areas which will become part of a future Palestine state will be Gaza Strip and West Bank. Now let us look at Arab-Israeli relations in brief. So the relations between Arab countries and Israel has been traditionally conflict-ridden. In fact, it has been so conflict-ridden that they have fought four major wars. One in 1948, the other in 1956, the third one in 1967, also known as 6 Days War, and the fourth one in 1973, known as Yom Kippur War. And this 1967 6 Days War is very important because in this war, Israel occupied Sinai Peninsula and Gaza Strip from Egypt, and Israel also annexed East Jerusalem and West Bank from Jordan and Golan Heights from Syria. And after the 1967 6 Days War, the Arab countries had met in Khartoum in Sudan and declared their famous three no's, that there will be no peace with Israel, there will be no talks with Israel, and there will be no recognition of Israel. But afterwards, in 1978, through the Camp David Accords, Egypt granted recognition to Israel in 1979. And after the Oslo Accords, Palestine Liberation Organization recognized Israel and was allowed to form Palestine Authority in West Bank and Gaza Strip. And after this, the Washington Declaration of 1994 led to Jordan recognizing Israel. So before UAE and Bahrain became the third and fourth Arab countries to recognize Israel, Egypt in 1979 and Jordan in 1994 were the only two Arab countries which recognized and had diplomatic relations with Israel. So, after this brief background, let us look at the key points of the editorial. So, the editorial talks about a new order emerging in West Asia, and it says that the accords between Arab states and Israel cannot bring peace without solving the Palestine issue, which is at the heart of this problem. It says that the so-called Abraham Accords, which have been signed in the White House on 15 September by UAE, Bahrain and Israel, and they have been mediated by the US President Donald Trump, they mark a new beginning in the relations between the Sunni-ruled Gulf kingdoms and the State of Israel. And here an important point to note is that the Gulf Cooperation Council, which is a grouping of 6 Gulf countries, including Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, Oman and UAE. Now these countries are predominantly Sunni Muslim countries and they are opposed to the Shia majority Iran. So there is this conflict also. And now it seems that these Sunni ruled Gulf kingdoms are moving into an alliance with Israel against Iran. Now under this agreement or the Abraham Accords, UAE as well as Bahrain would normalize their ties with Israel, and it will lead to better economic, political and security engagement between the two sides. Already these countries have been having some kind of understanding with Israel, but now it will be in the open and not behind closed doors. Also, as per the US and Israeli officials, more Arab countries are expected to follow the footsteps of UAE and Bahrain in normalizing their ties with Israel. So a new kind of alliance seems to be forming up in West Asia, and which will pose a major threat to Iran. Next, the editorial talks about the backing provided by Saudi Arabia to this deal. And it seems that the agreements have the backing of Saudi Arabia, which is the most influential Arab power and also a close ally of both the two countries which have recognized Israel, which are UAE and Bahrain. But Saudi Arabia has been little more cautious and it has not openly recognized Israel so far. Though Saudi Arabia opened its airspace for commercial flights between the UAE and Israel, which shows that it is not averse to these Abraham Accords. Also, the editorial says that these accords are the first between Israel and Arab countries since the 1994 Jordan-Israel Peace Treaty. And it also offers a rare diplomatic win for Mr. Trump, whose other foreign policy bets, be it Iran or North Korea, have been either disastrous or stagnant. And President Trump has called the agreements the new dawn of a new Middle East. And he is also hoping that this agreement will help him in winning the US presidency again. Finally, the editorial talks about the impact of Abraham Accords, and it says that there is no doubt that these accords have historical as well as geopolitical significance. But it is too early to say whether the accords will have any meaningful impact on West Asia's conflicts. Because, firstly, unlike Egypt and Jordan, which signed peace treaties with Israel in 1979 and 1994, the Gulf countries are not frontline states in the Arab-Israeli conflict. That means they are not at the forefront of this Palestine issue, though they have been extending support to the Palestine cause. Also, the Gulf countries had already established backroom contacts with Israel many years ago. And what is happening now is just the formalization of the relationship that was already present. Secondly, the agreements signed between the Arab countries and Israel has not helped the Palestinians in any which way, because the Palestinian question has remained unaddressed. And the editorial also points out that with Arab countries now signing diplomatic agreements with Israel bilaterally the Arab collective support for the Palestinian movement for nationhood, and which was also the basis of the 2002 Arab Peace Initiative, is crumbling. Now, here we should also know about this 2002 Arab Peace Initiative, which was the brainchild of Saudi Arabia, and it said that the Arab countries will give full recognition to Israel if it returns all the territories which Israel has occupied from the Arab countries. But now, with UAE and Bahrain granting recognition to Israel without Israel reverting to its 1967 borders, the Arab Peace Initiative of 2002 seems to be dead. But the editorial says that this does not mean that the Palestinian question would fade away, because the vacuum which has been created by the retreat of Arab powers from the Israel-Palestine conflict is being filled by the non-Arab Muslim powers, and chiefly among them are Iran and Turkey. And Iran and Turkey have been vocal against this retreat by the Arab countries and granting recognition to Israel. The editorial also says that the UAE-Bahrain agreements are in fact endorsing the region's emerging order. And here three developments are taking place. The US does not want to stay invested in the region. That is, it wants to pull out its troops from the Middle East. And countries like Turkey and Iran, they are getting more aggressive. And they are in conflict with countries like Saudi Arabia, UAE, and the other Gulf countries, which are primarily Sunni Muslim countries. So this kind of conflict is shaping up in Middle East. And now these Gulf kingdoms are aligning with Israel against Iran. Finally, the editorial says that the Abraham Accords are likely to sharpen this contest between Iran and Saudi Arabia. And if Mr. Trump and the signatories to the Accords want to bring peace, as they have claimed, they should address the more structural issues, which include the unresolved question of Palestine, and where the international community must take the lead now in enforcing a two-state solution. So this was all in the key points of the editorial. Now in the key concepts, let us look at what is India's stand on Israel-Palestine issue. So India's reaction to the Abraham Accords has been positive. India has welcomed the normalization of ties between Arab countries and Israel. India supports peace, stability and development in West Asia, which it considers to be its extended neighborhood. Now this term is also very important, that India considers West Asia to be its extended neighborhood. And here we should also know that India has deep stakes in West Asia because of its energy security concerns and also because of the large expatriate population that resides in the West Asian countries and which provide remittance to Indian economy. Now India also needs to watch its ties with Iran because India also shares good relations with Iran, as the Arab-Israeli tie-up will be a direct threat to Iran's security. So India will need to walk a fine line between its relations with Israel, with the Arab countries and with Iran. As far as the Palestine issue is concerned, India supports a two-state solution as part of a negotiated settlement between Israel and Palestine, and this has been the long-standing policy of India. Also recently, India has gone for a dehyphenation policy, and this is also very important from exam point of view, where India's relationship with Israel would stand on its own merits, independent and separate from India's relationship with the Palestinians. So this has been a very important shift in India's foreign policy as far as Israel-Palestine relations are concerned. So this was all in the editorial analysis. Now let us look at the kind of questions that can be asked in prelims and mains. So in prelims, basically map-based questions can be asked. So one should be very clear about the location and the neighboring countries. So one should look up Israel, places like Gaza Strip, West Bank, Jerusalem, Golan Heights, Sinai Peninsula, Bahrain, UAE. So we should have a very clear idea about their geographical location. Also, important accords can be asked. So we should be clear about the Camp David Accord, Oslo Accords, and the recently signed Abraham Accords. In mains, the question can be asked something like, how will the recognition of Israel by UAE and Bahrain impact the Palestine issue and the movement towards a two-state solution? Also, a question can be asked about the recent developments in West Asia, whether they will lead to the creation of an alliance between the Sunni Arab states and Israel against Iran. And finally, a question can be asked about India's stand on Israel-Palestine issue and also about its de-hyphenation policy. So we should be prepared on all of these. So this was all in today's editorial analysis. We'll see you next time with another editorial. Thank you.